Hello, it's Kevin Benedict, Senior Analyst for Digital Transformation here at Cognizant, reporting live this week from Chennai, India. Hello, I'm Kevin Benedict, Senior Analyst for Digital Transformation here at Cognizant. Having a wonderful time here in Chennai, India, with my colleague Manny Ball, who's in charge of or head of the Center for the Future of Work here in Asia Pacific. Thanks for joining me, Manny.
My pleasure.
So Manny, digital transformation. We talk about digital transformation constantly because we're seeing how it's just twisting and shaking up and actually creating all kinds of challenges and opportunities in many different industries.
Right.
Talk to me about what you're seeing around digital transformation here in the Asian market.
Sure. So if you look at it, if you were to ask 100 executives what is digital transformation, you will get at least 99 different responses. That is purely based on individuals' maturity, the vision of the organization, the culture, processes, so on and so forth, right? So the first thing first, what is digital transformation? The way we look at digital transformation, it's a continuous journey in which individual code halos are embedded into your products, services, solutions that delivers greater amount of value for customers, for partners, for employees, and ultimately to the business. So that is digital transformation.
So talk to us about what does the concept of code halos mean to you?
Yeah, sure, why not? So code halo, right, the way we define code halo is the field of digital information, right, that surrounds any noun, place, or a thing. So imagine, your own personal life, whatever interaction that you are having online today. You are buying something online, you are interacting with friends online, you are listening to music. So click after click, day after day, buy after buy. Whenever you do that, you create some sort of a code, information. And that code is becoming increasingly important for organizations to make value out of the code that you are creating. So merging that physical life, by leveraging the information and code is going to be the future for businesses.
Absolutely. So anything that we do online, whether it's on a desktop, laptop, our smartphones, our tablets, leaves a trail of activity that we do.
Absolutely.
And where we click, where we swipe, what we like, what we don't like, what we search on, what products we've bought. So all of that data accumulates to create a profile of you and I.
Absolutely. And think about a world where the largest taxi company in the world doesn't own even a single taxi.
Wow.
The largest bookseller in the world doesn't have actually a bookshelf. So look at Amazon, Google, all these companies, right? They have gained mastery of making meaning out of the code information that you and I are generating 24/7.
Oh yeah, so if you could put on the right kind of glasses and you could see the trail of digits around everything, around the alarm system in this building, around our mobile apps, the phone calls that come in, the transactions we do, the searches we do, the video cameras that are CCTV video cameras, the audio, the voices, where we call, where we travel to, the history of where we stay at a Marriott or use a Delta airline, all of that paints a picture. So as companies use that, they start finding opportunities to provide more products and more services to you and I.
Absolutely. The way we look at, code halo has become the new business principle for organizations today, right? So whether it's sensors, IoT, cloud, or any of the smart portfolio you look at, when you look at all these things from code halo puzzle, things start to get together, right? And what organizations can do by leveraging the physical as well as digital value chains, right? And merging your physical value chain with information and code that you are generating, that creates enormous amount of value for organization, and that's where the business is. So it's just the tip of the iceberg, what we are looking at, right? So moving forward, industry after industry, sector after sector will get changed the way organizations leverage their physical value chain and merge that, combine that by information and code that we are generating on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Here's what's really interesting. When you first hear that you're leaving this trail of digits, and those digits make up an online or a digital profile, a code halo about who you are and what you like to do, that sounds a little weird, it sounds a little creepy, until we recognize the advantage that those code halos are providing us. When I get on a Delta airline, I do want Delta to know where I'm flying to.
Okay.
And when I land, I want them to be able to tell me where my connecting gate is for my next flight. And they do that because they know who I am through the digits. They know when I landed, when I'm going, because all that's digits that helps me manage travel so much more conveniently. Absolutely. The same thing with Uber, right? One of the big advantages of Uber is you see where the cars are. You can ask for a car. You don't have to have any cash. Why? Because they know who you are.
Yeah. So what we call it, the value from invisible, right? That these companies are drawing. Okay.
Yes.
So in the past, it was so easy to do business. As you knew it very well, if you are a CEO or any other C-level executive, you had to do two things. A, either cut down on cost, and B, grow company's revenue. How would you cut down on cost? By supply chain optimization, rationalization, so on and so forth. And how would you grow company's revenue? With better products, better marketing, better services. But now the value flows from invisible, right? And this is what we have started to see. Companies like Uber, Netflix, right, and Google, Facebook, they have created value from invisible. And how they could do that? Because of the halo that we are generating on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, we have a collection of companies that we call the $1 Trillion Club.
Absolutely.
And those 5 companies have created $1 trillion in value, not from physical products and physical buildings, but from the best use in management and design and development and analytics all around digits.
Yes, absolutely. And in the process, what they did, they transformed customer expectations.
Oh yeah.
Right? And they created new business and operating models. And also what happened in the process, the previous market leaders like Nokia, Motorola, Borders, Kodak got bankrupted, right?
Yeah.
But Nokia, Motorola, Borders, and many others, they lost on an average 90% of their 2003 enterprise sales.
Wow.
So industry after industry, sector after sector went down, and we were wondering what's happening. On one side, you have companies like Uber and Facebooks of the world are growing at a rapid rate, and then on the other side, you have companies like Kodak got bankrupt. Other companies like Nokia, Motorola, lost their market value. So we're trying to understand, what we are going on, what we are going through. So we realized that it is becoming increasingly important for organizations to leverage the halo of code, right, that is being generated, the information that is being generated by people like you and me, your customers, your employees, your products today.
Absolutely.
So that is going to be the new, business principle for organizations.
Yeah, so Manny, let me give you 2 examples. The last time I went out looking for a new car,
sure.
The first thing I wanted in my wish list is a digital package that would interact with my iPhone, that would play my music, that would know all this stuff about me. And I first found my digital package, and then I looked at the car that had that package. So that is transforming. I didn't need to go test drive a car and go to the showroom as step 1. Talk to me about the digital package that I could get. So that's one example. Sure. I'll set that example over here. The next one, I recently read a hospitality survey that said, what is the #1 requirement of business people today? For decades, it had been the comfort of the bed and comfort of the pillow, the quality of the linen. Today, it's the speed of the internet provided to the room.
Right.
So suddenly, it wasn't a physical pillow and mattress as the #1 desire. It was high-speed internet. Again, so that's an example of a hotel industry completely changed to a digital competition. And cars, Give me a good car that wraps around my digital wants.
Absolutely, that's the future, right? And specifically, if you look at Asia Pacific, you know what's happening in this part of the world, right? So the next industry, which is sort of at the verge of being disrupted, is logistics. You have GoGoVan, in Hong Kong, right, and a similar service in Singapore, right? So what they are doing is connecting truck and van drivers, owners, directly to their customers. The way you book your taxi app, through the app, you can book your van, your truck to get your stuff shipped. Just by sitting at home, you can track the stuff and everything is very cool, right? So that's the next industry, logistics on demand. And now Uber is getting into the logistics industry with Uber Cargo Service, right? So it's just a matter of time when we will see industry after industry is being disrupted with these innovations that are happening, where companies are driving value from invisible, right? And specifically, if I look at Asia Pacific, like in China, today e-commerce players are bypassing banks on the payment side. Alipay, right? The third-party, online merchant, the payment provider, okay, they process world's biggest, largest, online payments. In 2013 only, they had processed $19 billion worth of digital payments. Wow. So the world's largest online payment provider is not a bank. It's Alipay.
Wow.
Okay. And then you have, industries, right? The line between industries is also getting blurred. Singpost in Singapore, the postal company of Singapore, plans to become an e-commerce player. They are buying transport, logistics, all these companies, right, to become pan-Asian e-commerce player. So even the industries, the line between industries is getting blurred. It is an exciting time to be in Asia Pacific.
Oh yeah, so in addition to Asia Pacific there, we see, you mentioned Google.
Yep.
Google is on a string of acquisitions of a kind of analytic companies, of genetic analysis companies.
Right.
All these kinds of things, and I just wonder, when they get into the whole, even more into mobile health and digital health, with all of that information, can they start providing us with different kinds of more analytically correct, more precise services than any traditional player has dreamed of? Because everything they're doing is being done on digits and data analysis.
Right, and what you're delivering at the end of the day is mass personalization, right? So you will start hearing more of, it's my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, my mobile device.
My genetics.
My genetics, right? So that's a mass personalization, which is the clear outcome, from all these investments that companies are making. But digital transformation, it's easier said than done, right? It's go way beyond building a cool mobile app or having a cloud-based solution, right? It's all about how you're going to integrate your products, your services, solutions with halos that are being generated around your customers, your employees, your products, because that's the next value, which is going to be created for organizations.
So today we're blessed to be here in Chennai, India. We're here on the Bay of Bengal and beautiful warm weather, and at home in Boise, it's cold. And so we're here in the tropics, and so I feel honored and also to spend time with my colleague here. So Manny, you focus here as head of the Center for the Future work on Asia, Asia Pacific. Talk to me about India. Where's India in this whole process of internet usage, mobile usage, and digital transformation?
Sure. So India is at quite a unique place, right? The internet penetration in India is lowest in the region, right? It's at around 17%.
17%.
17%, right? India has around 250, 300 million internet users, out of which maybe 100 million will be on mobile. Okay, but in India, what is happening? We are at the verge of getting to the next big action thing. The smartphone penetration, right? The low-end smartphone penetration is on the rise. Between $100 and $200 smartphones, right? There's a tremendous amount of traction that is happening. Local OEMs are coming in play, right? And then the data tariffs are coming down, and it's just just a matter of time. Think about India when India will have around 500 million mobile internet users.
500 million mobile users. How many do they have today?
So in India, mobile internet users are around 100 million.
About 100 million,
right?
Okay.
And that's not a distant reality. Maybe 3 to 5 years down the line, India will have 500 mobile, internet users, right? So how you are going to serve to that big an audience, which means the expectations of customers are going to get transformed. New innovations will come in play. Startups will transform, customer expectations, right? So it's just the, tip of the iceberg what we are looking at, right? And it's going to be altogether a different world when India will have around 700 million mobile internet users. Wow. So the key for organizations is to see, are they getting future ready? How they are going to serve to that bigger population at the end of the day? And it's not only from customer standpoint, those people will be your employees as well, right? How you are going to connect to millennials at the end of the day, okay? So what we are looking at, it's a tremendous amount of opportunity, for organizations. But for that, they have to start now that they can be ready to target, multi-billion-dollar digital transformation opportunities that will emerge in India as well as in Asia Pacific over the next 4 to 5 years.
So Manny, what does India look like when there's 500 million mobile internet users? What does that look like, and how is it different from today? What kinds of new businesses, services, the way government acts, the way payments are made, what will that vision look like?
So that's interesting, right? It's going to be all about personalization at the end of the day, right? Look at what happened to the taxi industry. It's happening in India as well, okay? Taxi industry, getting a taxi in India was never a fun in the past, right? It was, you have to stand in the queue for a very long time, and even if you get a taxi, you are not sure whether you are paying a fair price or not. And then all of a sudden, what happened? The taxi ride became an enjoyable, a pleasant experience, right? And thanks to Ubers of the world. And now what we are seeing is Ola cabs, some of the local providers are also emerging here that are providing similar services. So what they are doing
is an improved customer service.
What they are doing is they're transforming the experience, right? And as a customer, I would like to have a similar experience with my retailer, with my bank, with my government at the end of the day. So customers will demand more, which means where they will find that personalization piece, right? They'll be happy to switch to a different, vendor or a different, company, right? They won't mind doing it. So at the end of the day, it's going to be the personalization, how well you can connect, with your customers. So if you look at, the ATM part, right? So there are so many languages that are being spoken, in India, right? And whenever you go to any ATM, right, and try to get the, cash out, you insert the ATM card into the machine, and it asks you whether you want to continue in the local language, whether it's, your Tamil, your Hindi, your Punjabi, or any of the local languages, or you want to continue in English. Well, I have been dealing with this bank for the last 10 years.
It's like, what?
And this bank doesn't know which language that I speak. That's annoying at times, right?
It's annoying.
So these are some of the basic things, right, where organizations need to be very much focused on. Because when we will see, more mobile internet penetration happening in India, it is going to transform. People will get more services. People will expect, the similar services what they're getting from Uber, from their retailers, from their banks, from their governments. Right?
Absolutely.
So it's going to be the mass personalization, which is going to be critical for organizations to succeed in the future.
Absolutely. And a lot of the things that we're talking about here in 2015 are around user experiences as well. And as you were pointing out, the more that organizations and service companies know about our likes and dislikes, and they're better able to provide the services and the products that we really want.
Absolutely.
Now, and that can create mass infrastructure change. We were talking today about train systems here in India,
right,
and how they're not always a pleasant experience. Well, when there's economically feasible alternatives that are so much more comfortable, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to have to change their economic model and their approach to customer service, won't they?
So yesterday only, interestingly, the railway budget, was announced, right? And if you analyze the railway budget, it all focuses on improving the experience, of passengers, of their customers, to bringing the hygiene, the cleanliness, in trains, right, at stations, right? So we have started to see, you know, this government, right, is sort of pushing the cleanliness agenda, and now it is very much visible in the railway budget as well.
Wow.
So it's just the beginning, I would say, you know, right? It is going to become more and more critical when the experiences rises,
yes,
right, of customers.
Yes.
They would expect that, you know, from the retailers, from the banks, from everyone. So it's going to be the key, you know, for organizations to look at the personalization piece, how well you can connect to me, and if you are there when I need you most.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I want to thank you so much for sharing your insight, Manny, and for hosting me here for the first time in India.
Oh, my pleasure, right? And it was great to, you know, great having you here, right, Kevin? And yeah, it was a great discussion. I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Awesome. And if you haven't been to India before, it's a trip. It's beautiful. It's exotic. It's everything you hoped it would be. The food is amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.